This is Victories, the chess noob, learning and having fun with chess. In this game, I managed to get a really good position out of an unfamiliar opening. And in the middle game, I managed to encircle and suffocate my opponent's king of all movement before going in and striking for the kill. Let's go take a look. I had the white pieces in this game, and as usual, I led with e4, and my opponent surprised me on move 1 with b6. Owen's defense. What is Owen's defense? Now, I might have seen this a handful of times so far in previous games, but I don't really know how to play against it, and I have no real recollections of those games. I had a look after the match in this book by Schiller, Unorthodox Chess Openings, and this is what he had to say. The Owen defense has virtually disappeared from serious tournaments, though there are the efforts by some die-hard fans to bring it back to life. White can grab the entire center. There are a few trappy lines, and these often lead to quick victories for black, but most of them are double-edged, and white comes out on top with accurate play. And that was on page 323. So what did I do in this game? Usually when I encounter an opening I've not seen before, what I do is just to try to follow opening principles. So it looks like I can take the full center, so I did. I played d4. That was expected, the fianchetto of the bishop attacking the e4 pawn, and so developed the knight to c3, natural development square, which also defends the e4 pawn. They push now their e-pawn, develop the other knight, knights before bishops. Here they decide to bring out a bishop, ostensibly pitting my knight to the king. Now obviously if they take the knight, then that bishop potentially can take that pawn, so I need to give an extra defender for the pawn. And so let's develop the bishop to a fairly natural square, bishop to d3, which defends that pawn, now opening this up so that I can castle next turn. So basic opening principles. Try to take the center of your pawns, develop your pieces, knights before bishops, and then try to castle. And you will see, in fact, that at this point, I think after this move, we're basically I'm basically doing fairly well. Stockfish called that this was an inaccuracy by black, and in fact, the evaluation is plus 1.1. So knowing no theory, following opening principles, eventually my opponent made a inaccurate move out of this unorthodox opening, and I'm actually quite a bit ahead. So short castles. They decide to take that knight. I can take back. That's perfectly fine. I've got this big center. They now push another center pawn. So sort of waiting move. I think, in my view, they really need to develop their pieces. And here I try to crack open the center. Stockfish didn't think that was the right approach. Stockfish wanted me to take more space on the queen side while I had the opportunity. But here, this sort of ended up being okay for me because my opponent decided to take that knight with their bishop. I was fairly sure that that was a bad move, given that was their only developed piece. Now I get to develop my queen as well, and Stockfish kind of agrees. At the moment, it's about plus 4, 4.5. So the low depth is less, but higher depth, it's more than plus 4. Even though we technically have material equality, I'm just more developed. I also have the bishop pair, so they took a pair of my knights. I've got their bishops. I have the bishop pair, looking very good for me, I think. They close off the center. That's fine. I try to crack things open a bit. Takes, and now bishop to b5 with check. As expected, they had to block with their knight, so that knight is now pinned to the king. I opted to now bring my other pieces. So my idea here, while I've got more space, while I've got sort of development advantage, is to really advance my pieces to take the oxygen away from black's pieces, to take away their ability to move. This knight is already blocked in by that pawn, can't come to this square because of that pawn. Maybe it could develop there, but it's really, again, suffocating the king from movement. They try to, attack the bishop. That's fine. Move forward. Now with a bit of tempo. Now I bring my other bishop into the position. Again, also attacking the rook again. And here I do make the wrong move. So I saw that and I thought, look, if I move the bishop, I'm going to potentially sort of lose that pawn. That's probably what I needed to do, I think. And so I decided to play queen to this position, and that's a blunder. And you will see I, in fact, lose a lot of my advantage. Here it still gives me, so on high def it's 0, 0, 0. At high def, black is actually slightly ahead here. But they're ahead, but are they really ahead? I've got so much space, it's really difficult for black to play this position. They weren't sure what they should do, so they pushed the pawn. That was a blunder. That wasn't the right move for them, and I'm back ahead a little bit. I now push this pawn, so this pawn now has a problem, either gets taken by me or it needs to do something. They decide to push another knight, ostensibly attacking here, but that's fine. I take, defended. I expected them to take back, which is what they do. And now because of that attack, I whack that knight. Stockfish thinks that that was a bit of a mistake. It considered that liquidation, suboptimal. But that's mostly because black could potentially defend this position, but only if they play really accurately, and this is a really difficult position to play. My opponent, in fact, here now makes a game-changing blunder. King captures bishop, and you can see blunder, somewhere in the order of, almost +8 at high depth. They really needed to capture with the queen. What's the difference? Well, after the king captures, the king is now on this dark square diagonal. And I can bring my queen to b4, which comes with check. A lot of the strength at the moment, a lot of the tension that black has that holds their position is the fact that that rook pins the bishop to my queen, meaning that neither my bishop or my queen could move. But with that king move, it now uncorks that pin because I can give a check, and that makes all the difference from about 0, 0, 0 to +8, I think. So check, king forced to move back. I now take that pawn, doubling up on that knight. They're not sure what to do. They push a pawn. Here, with the A file now open, my rook joins the attack. So pinned piece, place pressure on the pinned piece. They try to block, attacking the rook. However, rook to A8, now attacking the queen, pinned to the king, defended by my bishop, forced to bring their rook back. And here I calculated that I can now unleash all the tension and completely liquidate. Firstly, bishop captures knight, with check. They have to do something. Queen captures. Rook takes rook, with check. This queen is pinned to the king. So king is forced to move up. Here, I now take queen captures queen, and now you will see that Stockfish considered that wasn't the most optimal move, but basically what I saw was that the king is forced to take the queen, and of course here they resigned with checkmate because the next move, rook captures rook, we enter an endgame, I have a rook and 6 pawns, they only have a king and 5 pawns, absolutely completely winning for me. I saw that, and that's the line I chose to take, emotional damage, make people resign. Now this other move was better because queen here actually gives a forced mate line. So that's with check, the queen is forced to block, and then that is mate. I didn't actually see that. However, I quite liked my move because it's just so neat, and it's that idea of suffocating the king, getting the attack into place, and then striking out, liquidating the position, winning endgame. Good game? GG. My big takeaway from this game is to follow opening principles against unfamiliar openings. I hope you enjoyed this video and thanks for watching.